Okay, perfect. So it's like, okay, so you guys can hear and see my screen, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, uh, once again, good evening to all of you. Agenda, or why briefly we have come here, is basically to talk about one of the most prominent analytics domains, and I would say one of the most fastest growing analytics domain in the industry, in the entire analytics industry, that is specifically marketing analytics. And we will just try to understand that when we use the word marketing analytics, possibly you guys have come across this word. So what exactly do we mean by marketing analytics, and what kind of work that really goes on, and how is basically the results used? So that would be basically the short agenda for this session. So here I will not really get into the modeling part of it, as in like how we build models. That itself is it's a long drawn process, but I will try to give you a glimpse of like what exactly happens, and how the data comes, and what exactly we do, and what we basically understand when we use the word marketing analytics, right? So that's basically the entire synopsis, or the summary of this entire session, this forthcoming session, right? So yeah, before to begin with, I have a presentation, but then I just wanted to know from you guys. You can just give a one-line introduction, all of you, and and also, if anything, do you know about marketing analytics? So there are like few options which I can think about really. And the first option is that you really do not know what is marketing analytics. Or the second option is like, you know, but you really do not know what exactly goes on. And maybe the third option is like, you really know because you have worked in the industry and you know what it's in and out. So I just wanted to understand from your perspective that do you guys really have an understanding of marketing analytics, like, and what it is, and how it can be as a career option? Anything? You can either ping in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself and let me know. Okay. I into channel sales profile. Okay. So the chats I have got, it's mostly like there is a limited knowledge, or less of knowledge. Okay. So great. So without wasting any more time, let's then deep dive and try to get a glimpse of it. So before that, I will just try to introduce myself. I'm sure Shweta has already introduced, but yeah, once again. So my name is Arpindu Ganguly, and I'm currently being associated with Accenture Applied Intelligence team. So the Applied Intelligence team basically works into analytics and various other services. So inside the Applied Intelligence and the Analytics team, I'm the part of the Marketing Analytics. So I'm based out in Gurgaon, and yeah. So and I did my graduation in economics from Ramjas College, Delhi University, and post-graduation in economics from the University of Calcutta. So that's basically briefly about my academic background and my professional experience. Yeah. Yeah. Anything do you want to ask before I give you a just a understanding of the concepts? Any prior questions do you want to ask? I want to pin down, so that let's make it engaging, so that I do not want to really have it a monologue session where I keep on speaking, and possibly you get bored, and then you feel like, okay, it's not like worth enough. So if there are any questions, please feel free to just ping me, yeah, and then we can discuss. Are we going to talk about SAS Python for marketing analytics? Not yeah, SAS and Python. So SAS was broadly used for marketing analytics. Now it is more of R in most of the companies. Python, yes, it's like it has been starting off It has not really entered into the industry at a very large scenario. But I think in the next couple of years, it will be as popular as R. But now R is kind of the next level champ. It has replaced SAS in almost 90 to 85 to 90%, right? So that's about the technique part of it. Differences in profile of business analytics, marketing analytics, and data scientists. So, Jaideep, I will hold on to that question. Just let me remind me. So I have a slide where we talk about like what kind of skills set and what are profiles that we look forward to. So I can really answer that. How different is marketing research from marketing analytics? That's a very good question, Sambeat. I think. I will really try to answer that. So that's a very good question in terms of we really try to mingle between market research and market analytics or marketing analytics. Let's try to we will try to decipher that. That was basically the distinction. So I think I will hold on to the couple of questions. The first is like the differences, like business analytics, marketing analytics, and data scientist, and the second is basically the market research and marketing analytics. So cool. And please feel free to always ping. I will just try to shuffle between the slide and the chat box so that we are on the way along, right? So, okay. I hope you can see my, so the other three fellows. Yeah, so I will just set the agenda here. And guys, you can always ping as well as unmute yourself so that I know that you are speaking, or I will always go back to the chat box, right? Okay, so right, so this set of agendas what we'll cover. So basically, what is marketing analytics? Why companies use marketing analytics or MA? Which are the companies? Which are the topmost companies which are using it? How clients are basically deriving insights? So okay, analytics, but how is the client digesting all of the insights, all of this data, or all of this analytics solutions that we're providing? So what's the usage of client, right? So skills. What exactly the skills are required in the industry, specifically from a marketing analytics side. And I have divided into three parts. That's technique, the software, and the soft skills. Then it's like summing it up, and then we have a question answer session, which is like parallel, which can go like during the session itself. Okay, so that's briefly about the agenda. So the first part of it, so marketing analytics, right? So before getting into the next slide, I will try to bring you guys a situation, right? So that would be interesting for you. So I think you all guys, all of you visit to various stores, right? Maybe you visit to like the Big Bazaar or the Pantaloons or like any of the retail stores, right? And also you visit the online shopping platforms like Amazon or Flipkart or like a Zomato, right? So these are the various apps where we basically do the online transactions, right? So now, this is the place where basically a transaction happens between a customer and a service provider, right? But so what exactly this marketing analytics is, or what exactly it comes into play? Let's try to understand it first, right? So for example, let's say you are watching a YouTube channel, yeah, for example, and before watching a video, suddenly a Apple 10 ad pops up, or or any other phone, let's say a OnePlus ad pops up, right? So you possibly were thinking of getting that phone, but seeing that ad, possibly that the urge increases, and you also search, right? Ashmita, I will answer that question, the sentiment analysis or type of market analysis. So I'm just trying to explain that what exactly happens, right? So there's an ad in a YouTube channel. You are seeing any other video, and there's an ad, and then your urge to buy that increases. Or for example, possibly you all guys use Flipkart or Amazon, or if you have searched anything in an Amazon kind of a website, right? If you are not bought it, but still, if you are going to any other website, then these ads pop up that, like for example, let's say I am searching for a cool T-shirt, right? then there will be like 5 t-shirts popping up in the screen that there is this off and you can buy, right? So this is where the customer is enticed to get it, right? So now what I'm trying to basically, maybe I can use this Excel to just also try to make you understand. I have the presentation, but I really do not like the presentations because it makes you boring. Right. So what I'm trying to say is that so I have this ad. Let's say I'm talking about a YouTube, right? Okay. Uh, and then what happens is that, so what is this YouTube? So broadly, this YouTube is basically a digital channel, right? Digital channel, or like apps, or like a Facebook. It's a digital channel, right? You see ads in this, and possibly you like something, and then you go, and then you, let's say there's a product, and there's a channel, and then there is sale, right? Okay. And what else? So this is sometimes a example of a digital channel. Else, there can be a channel like a TV, right? So most of us, all of us, have televisions in our home and we watch it. So for example, I'm planning to buy a car, and there is a new series of ads which is being popping up, let's say of Maruti Baleno, yeah, let's say. So, and by seeing that ad, I try to, I'm impressed, and there's a sale happening, right? So this is kind of like a traditional channel, yeah, like a TV kind of thing, or like a newspaper. Okay? So or of the newspapers, right? And there are various ads in the newspaper, especially newspapers like Times of India, Hindustan Times. I feel there are a lot of ads. So by visualizing those ads, I possibly start thinking of it and I start buying, right? So there are various other channels. So these are the channels which I see from a consumer point of view, right? So think this from a consumer point of view. So what I'm seeing is these ads from a YouTube, a Facebook, TV, newspaper. Okay, but let's try to reverse our shoes, or let's try to see this mirror from like a reverse angle, right? So in that case, for example, let's say you are the CEO of a company. Let's say you are the CEO of Maruti, and you have a big budget, right? And marketing budget, I would say. So this marketing budget needs to be allocated into various channels, right? So there could be like, you need to spend, let's say, I have a budget of, let's say, uh, 1 billion. Let's say 1 million. Yeah, let's say $1 million. Okay, and I need to spend this. Okay, and uh, uh, I need to spend this, and based on this, but how do I spend, right? I can spend it on YouTube, I can spend it on Facebook, I can spend it on TV, I can spend it on newspaper. Like, how do I spend it? I basically contact the YouTube guys that show this Baleno ad so many times, right? I can ask the TV, like whenever the IPL goes on, or whenever like the TV series goes on, you see ads, right? So how does that ad happen? The channels are paid to show a particular ad, and this payment comes from this budget, right? So there are various So think of it as various options. So I have option one, two, three, four, five, many options where I can show my ad, but I really do not know like which of the channels is basically best affecting my sales, right? So from a CEO perspective, or from a leader's perspective, they will try to understand that, okay, let's say I have this $1 million, but I need to allocate it most efficiently so that my sales maximizes, right? अगर मैं देख रहा हूँ कि like most of my sales is happening because of my TV ad, so I need to put more on this rather than on something else. Let's newspaper, it's not contributing, right? So this is basically in terms of what exactly happens. So one, as a consumer, we see the ad. Many of us, so for example, many of us have seen the ad. That is why you have purchased it. Many of the things that you have bought, maybe a laptop, maybe a phone, a motorbike, or a simple, even a mouse, whatever you have seen, you have, possibly there is an ad, there's a brand consciousness, right? So like HP is a good brand, or Apple is a good brand, or Maruti is a good brand. There's brand consciousness and there's ad. So these two things which basically tries to influence you and influence your purchase behavior, right? So basically, so that's how the companies try to understand that the company have a lot of money, so they need a guidance of like, how do I basically plan this, how do I basically allocate my money into the various other channels. So that is how where this marketing analytics come into picture. So that is where we say that, okay, you have okay, so you have this $1 million. We will help you to understand that whether the channels are like the most best performing channels, and we will. So there is a two parts of it in usually marketing analytics. One is basically your prediction or predictive modeling, and there is a one big chunk other which is called optimization. I'm sorry, I'm being a bit of uh, like in Excel. I'll again go to the presentation, but these are like the two big things which usually happens. So if you have come across campaign analytics or marketing analytics, these are the two things which happen. One is predictive modeling. So basically, we will try to use econometric or machine learning models to understand that what are the channels which are like contributing the most, and then we go into the optimization. So what is optimization? Let's also briefly talk about it, right? So optimization is basically where, let's say again, you have, let's say, 100 rupees, right? And your mother says we go and purchase these things from the market, right? But you as a rational person, you will try to optimize that, right? You will just not spend it because you need to spend it. If there is constraint which is 100 rupees, you need to maximize the satisfaction. You need to maximize, you need to get the best mix so that the satisfaction level gets maximized, right? So that is what basically happens in optimization. So for example, what is fixed is this budget, right? The budget is fixed by the leadership, by the finance, but what needs to maximize is the sales, right? So I need to plan this budget in a much efficient way so that my sales increases or my sales gets maximized, right? So so that is where this optimization comes into picture, right? Uh, is it making sense to you guys in terms of like what exactly happens? I will go to the presentation if you feel like why not get using the presentation. Okay, so let me use it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so I have this like the definition of it. So marketing analytics comprises the process and technologies that enables the marketers to evaluate the success of marketing initiatives, right? So every day, let's say any of these campaigns which you hear. Okay, so let me do this more visual, right? So let's say I go to my YouTube, right? And in the first and the first itself, there must be some campaign, and there must be some ad coming up, right? Sorry, not for my. I will just show the first. Yeah. So this campaign, right? This Aditya builder, right? So this they are doing some stuff, and okay, great. So there is great visual. Now, as a consumer, I am seeing this ad, right? I am as a consumer, I'm going to this website, I'm seeing this ad, but this ad is not just as a random thing. This is an ad which has been put by the company in the YouTube, and it wants. I'm sorry, yeah, and it wants me to see that ad, right? But the point is that the end result, which is a kind of sales, that how much of the sales is happening, right? So it could be the various other channels. TV में भी हो सकता है, newspaper भी हो सकता है, any other channels can do सकता है. So that is where there is this bridge between the marketing. So people like who really understand or design the campaigns. So there are marketing guys who really design these campaigns. So how should the ad look like? Who should be the celebrity who should be featured in, whether it should be Ranveer Singh or Ranveer Kapoor, but then how exactly the ad is helping for your sales. So that is where we come into the picture, right? So again, going back to the presentation, so basically there are channels like a television, like a radio. Possibly you guys see big billboards, right? When you're traveling, you see like big billboards of various of a car or something. So these are like out of home. So you see that and you get influenced, right? So there are newspapers, there's a Twitter, there's a Facebook, YouTube. So there are various other channels. But as a company leader, I need to understand that okay, ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता है कि मेरा सब channels ही equally contribute कर रहा है मेरे sales को. So there will some channels which are like low performing and some channels which are like high performing, and this is where basically what marketing analytics comes into play. So it basically helps you to design the campaigns. Now, at what granular level the insights can go? So in terms of granularity, just to give you an example, so let's say Maruti, yeah, it's giving you ad, it's ad. So there are various ad lengths at various levels also. So there is a distinction at an ad of 10 seconds, there's ad at a 30 seconds, or there's ad of like say 20 seconds, right? So these are the three distinct ads, and the company has allocated three different amounts of money in these ads, right? But the company wants to understand that okay, which is the ad which is performing the most. If a 30 seconds ad is not at all working, why should I even design that ad? If a 10-second ad is working the best for me, I should go for a 10-second ad, right? So that is a level of granular insights that we need to provide. So there are like regional channels, and so channels like in Maharashtra, there will be something like Utsav, or in South Indian, there'll be South Indian channels and there'll be South Indian ads. So they go into the regional level also. So there are various levels at which the modeling can also happen, right? So basically, just to summarize, we basically try to understand. So what are the best media performing mix through analytics, through machine learning, and then we try to optimize that. Okay, so this is your budget, and that is how we want to optimize given the insights from the econometric modeling which happens, or the given insights from machine learning which happens. So that is basically the connection between the money, the marketing initiative, and the return. I will come to what exactly the return is. Okay, so which company or why companies use marketing analytics, right? So I think I talked about this. So basically, what has happened in the last 5 years is that companies do not really want to say कि अच्छा मैंने इतना खर्चा किया तो इतना आया. But what exactly is what is the next level of insights that can come up, right? So for example, the companies wants to know. So for example, the project that I'm currently working upon for a client A, so they really want to know that at a real time क्या हो रहा है. मैं जब मैं खर्चा कर रहा हूँ, how exactly my consumer is behaving in terms of sales, and how should I keep on juggling between my marketing spend, right? So that is how that is why the companies are more and more being disposed of to this marketing analytics, right? Because the consumer right now is very much attuned to a various kind of online mode. So so just try to imagine from that point of view also. So 10 years or 20 years back, we did not digest so much of information, right? Now हमारे पास क्या क्या है? We have got a tablet, we have got a laptop, we have got a phone, we have got a speaker, we have got a newspaper, we have got all sorts of ways of informing us, right? So the kind of data is huge, the kind of opportunity is huge, and each of the company wants to just leverage this kind of opportunity and to get the next level of insights, right? So that is why marketing analytics in itself has become one of the most seeked of industry, because ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि कभी भी companies will stop marketing. They will continue to launch new products, they will continue to design new ads and new campaigns, and they will always try to understand whether a particular campaign is working for them, or it's like a bullshit campaign, or if a particular campaign is working, why it's working, where it's working, how it is working. So these kind of questions, right? So that is why marketing analytics in itself is very, very huge. And not just about India. Indian clients definitely go into marketing analytics. There are a lot of clients outside this India also who are very much dependent upon marketing analytics, as in terms of the big stores or the big and this can be spread across industries, right? So marketing analytics is not just let's say banking. A bank will also market. For example, HDFC will also market. A telecommunication company like a Reliance will also market. A healthcare company like Apollo will also market, right? A apparel company like a Pantaloons will also market. So it is the most interesting part of marketing analytics, that you can work across a range of industries. So there is no bound of like, I will only work in the banking and there will only banking related data. I can work across a range of industries, and that is how you can generate a lot of information and knowledge across industries, which can really help you profile, right? So it's not just a unidirectional of one scope of industry, but it's like it's very very holistic, and that is why I personally I feel that this industry is very very interesting to work with, and it's ever growing, right? Okay, so yeah, this is a small slide of like what exactly happens, right? So if you see this this kind of the graph, which is basically we move from reporting to analyzing to prediction to optimization. So basically, this is where we end the project. So in a typical marketing analytics project, we get the data, we analyze the data, we make predictions through modeling, and we finally provide with optimized ratio results. So it can be in form of a tool, it can be in form of, most of the times in Accenture we provide with tools. We have certain intellectual property rights and tools for the clients where they can just play, because um, it's always like from a client perspective, he really do not understand the statistics or machine learning. He's not concerned about anything. The only thing that he's concerned is about that if he has spent so much of money, what is the return, right? So अगर मैंने 100 रुपया खर्च किया है तो मेरे को इस पे कितना return है? So that is what their clients are like wants to understand, but at the most shortest span of time and at a most granular level. So that is what the clients are always expecting, and this is the kind of a scenario that we try to model, right? Okay. So before going into like which companies use, I will see the chat box. Okay. If you have any questions, just let me know. Okay, so Ashmita, let's say I pick up your question of like sentiment analytics and type of marketing analytics. Yes, sentiment analysis. So एक चीज I keep on whenever I speak about this, I keep on saying that, and maybe it can be one of the key takeaways of the session is that all of you, maybe you are hearing a plethora of techniques, right? Plethora of techniques matlab sentiment analysis, machine learning, neural networks, linear regression, logistic regression, all of these. There are a lot of things that you hear, right? Uh, if you are a fresher or if you're in the industry or as a practitioner, what I believe is that pick up a few techniques. Don't just get confused. सब कुछ नहीं होता सबके साथ एक साथ नहीं हो पाएगा. Try to pick and choose. So there's a bit of digression, and I will get into the sentiment analysis part. But I would say there are few things which you should all, some few basic techniques which you should all learn, right? Something like a linear regression. Yeah. Then there is something like logistic, right? Then there is like time series forecasting, right? And then you can go into like clustering, and then the all of the machine learning stuff. Yeah. So this is always a sequence you should follow in terms of, and then you can go into machine learning. Machine learning itself is very very vast, and now machine learning itself is getting replaced by deep learning stuff. So it's ever evolving. But I feel that as people who are trying to enter this industry, and the way it's still in a very nascent stage, right? So analytics, it's still in a nascent stage. We are still exploring. People will say कि मेरे को neural networks आता है, मेरे को GBM आता है, मेरे को Spark, Hadoop सब कुछ आता है, but no one really knows everything, right? We all have half-baked knowledges, but I think from the 4 or 5 techniques that I've mentioned, then you should really start from these, and do not get confused. And then you can always pick up the other stuff like a sentiment analysis or a neural network kind of advanced technique. Okay, so coming back to the sentiment analysis part, yes, Ashmita. So sentiment analytics can be used in marketing analytics. So what could be the example? The example is that like in Amazon, right? So you possibly visit Amazon, right? So what is the usual process of buying something in Amazon? So for example, what I do, I'm not sure whether it's rational or not. I will just try to describe my situation. So in Amazon, whenever I try to buy some product, I'll just I'll see its specifications, the price, stuff. But one of the most important things that I do check is this part, and I'm sure you also check this: customer reviews. Yeah, the people have already bought it, right? Customer reviews. We see that कितना star मिला, क्या बोल रहे हैं लोग. My general tendency is that if I see that most of the people are saying negative, 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 I do not, even if I like that product, I will not buy it because okay, it's not working, mic खराब है या कुछ भी खराब है. So does not have good reviews, right? Uh, so in that case, Amazon in itself can use sentiment analytics, right? And it can use how it can use this is that whenever you are feeding in text, right? So that's a sentiment, not good, bad. So these are like sentiments, and this can be used to basically check out these orders, check out these products from the shelf itself, right? So आपका अगर product, so there's so many retailers, we are all like सब अपना अपना थाली लेके हम लोग चल रहे हैं यार, Amazon में बेच देते हैं. So can you sell that stuff? So Amazon needs to decide that okay, all of you cannot enter. There will be few selected people, but if you're like entering and your products are really bad, but then how do I know that their products are really bad? Amazon को सब चिट्ठी तो लिखते नहीं, so they are basically reviewing the product, and then if the product is keep on getting a bad review, the Amazon checks it out. It's not selling. So that's and the reviews like the star average rating कैसे आ जाता है? This is all happening with sentiment analytics, right? So this bit of like what exactly happens. I'm not getting into the detailed coding part of it, but that is how the sentiment analytics part happens. Twitter analysis. See, Samik, so Twitter analysis. Try to get these concepts clear, right? So Twitter क्या है? Twitter is a platform, right? प्लेटफॉर्म से मुझे कुछ डेटा आएगा. व्हाट इज डेटा? जैसे अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड टेक्स्ट डेटा, राइट? ये फेसबुक से भी आ सकता है, या आपको इंस्टाग्राम से भी आ सकता है, या आपको स्नैपचैट से भी आ सकता है. इट कैन कम फ्रॉम एनीथिंग, बट दिस टेक्स्ट डेटा और दिस टेक्स्ट एनालिटिक्स is universal irrespective of the platform, right? And that can be also used in marketing analytics, right? The scope can be applied even in marketing analytics, right? Yeah, from Google search engine. Yeah, so the data can really come from any kind of it. So data ka source is kind of different, but the data in itself will be either a text or numerical format. So this is like unstructured or structured, right? That is how the like how it operates, right? So do not get confused, like a Twitter analysis or sentiment analysis. They are not two different things. The same thing, only the sentiment analysis like the more broader sense. ट्विटर एनालिसिस यू really drilling down कि आप ट्विटर से ही डेटा ले रहे हो, ट्विटर को ही आप एनालाइज कर रहे हो. एग्जैक्टली. एंड इट्स नॉट like something which is exclusive of like a sentiment analysis, right? Okay, so yeah, so there are various ways. I will come to the techniques part of it. So what are techniques we use? Okay, so I think you guys will be really interested into like which companies use marketing analytics. The slide size is really less, so I could not insert a lot of logos, but yes, I got the most important ones. Yeah, so I did not feature my company, FII. So yeah, so Netflix, McKinsey, Netflix. I'm not sure India में office है कि नहीं, but McKinsey, GE, Amazon is like they use a lot of analytics. Adobe, Latent View is I think situated in South India, Chennai, and GE. There are other companies as well, like Absolute Data. There are companies like New Sigma. There are companies like Accenture. Uh, uh, there are companies even like BCG, Boston Consulting Group. They also use marketing analytics. So, what is the common feature of these companies? Yeah, the common feature of these companies or these is that. So, I'm just trying to. So subset of sentiment analytics, yes, it's a subset of sentiment analytics. Amit. Yeah, Flipkart, yes. So what is the common about these companies? There are like two kind of companies, right? So the first kind of companies is like the captive ones, right? So for example, what is the example of a captive company? It's like let's say HSBC, okay? So HSBC क्या करेगा? HSBC will only try to analyze its own data, right? It will not analyze any other data. It will only analyze its own data of its own customers, its own transactions. It will not analyze Bank of America का data या Goldman Sachs का data, right? And there are also companies like a McKinsey, right? So they are like providing solutions across clients. So they can also provide a solution to HSBC. They can also provide a solution to American Express. Yeah, even though they have their own units. So these companies so which are not captive units, they usually have the marketing analytics part. Because why? Because they can get projects from a range of clients, right? So जैसे मैंने पहले बोला, so the clients can be uh, uh, from a telecom industry, uh, from a petroleum industry, or from a retail industry, from any kind of industry, and there could be competing clients also. So, for example, a company can have projects from, let's say, uh, your it can have plans from both Aditya Birla as well as, let's say, any other competitor, let's say Raymond's, right? So competing clients भी हो सकते हैं. Obviously, the company will not disclose that there are competing clients, but it can get, right? So that's how these companies operate. That they seek out projects, and usually the projects come up. And in Indian companies का क्या होता है कि like who are dependent upon marketing analytics. Uh, so they really do not have that forte, right? So they do not have that skill set to really analyze, and they are more itself dependent upon कि उनको sales कैसे करना है, ये करना है. So they don't have that skill set. They are more into the production part of it, right? So, for example, a company like, let's say, Mahindra will be more focused on producing the vehicle rather than analytics कर रहे हैं कि कैसे क्या करना है. So they will just outsource the analytics work to some other XYZ company to say, okay, okay, I have this amount of money, and how should I use this in spending? Whether I should show more of ads, or should I feature ads in a YouTube channel, or should I give you big pamphlets in a newspaper or a magazine? So what should be the way out, right? So that's how these companies basically operate, right? Um, yeah. So these are like the brief of companies. There are like a lot of companies. If you just really search about marketing analytics, there will be a lot of companies with its feature. And I do not know. I do not have a empirical evidence or data-backed evidence, but I feel that in National Capital Region, there are more companies in marketing analytics. That's without a data-backed statement, right? So that's what it is, right? Okay, so how clients use insights or marketing analytics? Okay, so that's very important, right? Uh, there is a lot of text. I do not want to go into all of that. So I just I will write this. Maybe I will use this again, Excel, a different sheet maybe. So the clients को एक ही चीज mostly होता है, as per my limited experience and knowledge, is return on investment. So basically, if I am spending 1,000, let's say, dollars, okay. So what is the return of investment? Is it like $2,000? Okay. Or is it like $500? Right. So what is the return on investment? So अगर मैं $100 spend कर रहा हूँ और मैं $200 का sale हो रहा है, so what is my return on investment? My return on investment is $2, right? For every dollar I'm spending, I'm getting 2 units. But if I'm spending like $1,000 and I'm just getting a sale of $500, my return on investment is $0.5, which is like I'm not actually even breaking even. I'm losing, yeah, because my sales are less and as compared to my investment. So this is where we try to plug in कि आप, let's say, आपको अगर $1,000 है, so how you can move from a $500 to a $2,000 kind of. So possibly without analytics, they would be earning something like this. We say that, okay, so you're not spending the money in the way you should. you should allocate the money, because through econometric modeling and through statistical modeling, it has been proved that these are the channels which are performing better. And you should then you run an optimization scenario where you say, okay, identify $100 say, what should be the optimal mix among the various channels? And then we say, okay, after you, this can be like a pre-analytic, right? And this can be like a post-analytic scenario, where we say to the client, key post-analytics, your ROI or your return on investment has actually increased by around 300%, right? So it's big increase, right? So that is how basically the clients use. So what they are really interested in this the return on investment, right? कि कितना पैसा मैं खर्च कर रहा हूँ, कितना ज़्यादा. So that is one part of it, one part of the story. So one is the return on investment. Another part of the story which you guys will be interested to know is that we all guys for shopping, right? So uh, I'm sure you have done a bit of shopping in the end of season sales, right? Which really happens in the Jan to Feb, Jan, December, Feb, and there is another sale end which like June, July, right? So I gave this example a couple of times, but why I'm giving this example, maybe it will be new for you, is that, and I will say that how analytics is being used, because we have done projects in that perspective, is that uh, so whenever you go to a shop, let's say UCB, you visit to Connaught Place, or you visit to any of the shops, like big markets where there's a lot of apparel shops, you see that there's like 50% discount, 40% discount, and like buy two and get one free stuff. So there's a lot of things, right, going on at a particular time of the year, right? Uh, so as a consumer, what we see only that 50% discount, right? And we get enticed. Acha, 50% discount, let's buy more because this discount will not be there, right? I should buy as much as I can because ye acha sale hai, and it's 50% discount, right? So what companies at the back end do is that this 50% discount is not a random figure which comes up. It's not like a 50% ही है वो. It can be 40%, it can be 50%, it can be 60% even, depending upon the inventory. So we also do something like a kind of a what they say is like this inventory optimization, right? So for example, let's say you are Flipkart, or let's say Pantaloons, and you have so many stores running across the country, right? And then you need to really know that what kind of sales should be there. आपको क्या क्या करना पड़ेगा? आपके पास sales होना चाहिए, right? So how much of the sales should be there? You need to find the optimal discount, right? You need to find the optimal discount where you basically can maximize or end up all your sales. आपका जितना भी sales है वो सब खत्म हो जाए. So what is this optimal discount? This optimal discount comes from modeling. So आपका जो आप store के बाहर देखते हो, just 50%, it's not just a random figure. It comes through a modeling exercise, which is this optimal discount. The other thing where we try to plug in, or where analytics come into picture, is that the dates. आप अगर देखते हो कि end of season sales from 21 to 25th, that is also being decided through analytics. It's not just any random dates जब ये होगा, right? And these dates or this optimal discount, this all comes from your previous data, right? क्योंकि पिछले साल भी हुआ था, पिछले साल भी हुआ था, so we try to study the pattern, that which were the dates that had the highest sales, what was the discount, and at what discount the sales can happen. So these discounts and these discounts can even vary at a store level, right? So imagine the kind of information that we need to provide, or the kind of data that we do. So there are like so many stores, let's say like 10,000 stores, and there could be a discount for each of the stores at a unique level, right? And you need to provide this at a very short period of time, let's say 5 days. And they need to implement your result, right? So this is like a kind of a pricing exercise. This in marketing analytics is called pricing. or pricing analytics. This is another big domain. So this is where the kind of information that we try to build in, and we try to say, okay, this is the optimal discount that you should give, right? And these are the dates. You should plug in your dates like in this week, because in the last year in these dates there was this huge sales, and that is how you should use it, right? So this is another big kind of a work of marketing analytics that we try to see. So it's the mostly the information flow is basically at a B2B level, right? Here it's not a B2C level. We are basically working at a business to business level, right? We advise the clients, we advise the corporates, we advise the sellers, what should be your optimal strategy for marketing, right? So that is how this thing entire operates. So reporting on the past, we report the past, we understand the trends, we analyze the present, we see what is the trend which is happening, what are the trends, क्या क्यों ट्रेंड है, अगर अगर एक पर्टिकुलर डेट पे का सेल्स पिक होता है तो क्यों वो पीक था. We try to understand that, and we try to like build a logic around that ki, why this is happening, and then we try to predict and see what should be the next level of things, or the next future में क्या होने वाला है, and how you should gear up, right? Because a marketing budget is something you take it from yourself, right? For example, in the next year you're planning for your like next education, or your marriage, or buying a car, or buying a house. You really plan for it, right? And you try to save money, and then you decide it accordingly. But that planning is given by some empirical, or it's some kind of previous knowledge, right? So this previous knowledge हमारा क्या होता है, हम लोग तो we do not really run analytics and plan it. But for a company, the stake is very high, right? So they have a lot of money, and the stake is really high, so they really want a very data driven kind of a thing. So that is how uh, this becomes really important, because there's so huge amount of budget to be allocated across various things, and what should be the optimized mix, and what should be the optimized forecasted scenario. So that is how the clients basically use it, right? Okay, so I think this is also very important for you guys. Yeah. But any questions till here? Okay. Uh, I'm sorry. I keep on scrolling up and down. Okay, Sajay, you have a PhD from Earth Science from ISC, and I'm interested in analytics. It's fine if I apply the data from Earth. Yep, definitely, Shaja. I think if you have interest, you should really apply. A PhD itself is it's a reputed degree, and it's kind of considered the topmost education qualification. It's very people. So you are very I think knowledgeable, blessed, and brilliant. So because that is why you have PhD, right? So definitely, if you have interest in analytics, then you should go and apply for it, right? You should think of it. But I would suggest that given it's more of a research experience, right? In PhD, it's more of research. I feel that you can also mold yourself into more of a data science kind of a job, and not just analyst, data analyst. Yeah. So I will talk about these. I understand that. I do not. I understand, because obviously you are doing a PhD, so you do not have a company experience. But then you can feature or plug in your resume in such a way, and reach out to potential recruiters. You can get a more higher level job, and not like a data analyst. Right? So that's how. Maybe you can start with analytics analyst or a consultant, but not really as a data analyst. But yeah, but I think if you have interest, you should really uh, use your research and analytical thinking into uh, in, into this field, right? I hope I was able to answer the question. Okay. I have ID problem. Okay. I will tell you from the software point of view. Abhishek, I will let you know that. Yeah. Data scientist or data analyst. I will tell you that. So, okay. So let's talk about the profiles first, and then we can speak about the skills, right? So again, forgive me for using a blank Excel. Okay. So, uh, okay. So we all come across these words, right? And forgive me about my spellings if they're wrong. Right? Right. So these are like the various things. Can you think of anything else, guys? You want me to write something else? Market research. I will come to that question. But do you think of anything else? Profile like a data scientist, data analyst, business analyst, statistical modeler. Anything else that you see across which I am missing? Data associate. Okay. Anything else? Google Analytics, Devesh. Google Analytics like a different. I'm just talking about profiles, right? So it's like what kind of profiles you really see while you're applying for jobs and stuff. Okay. So let's try to understand. Okay. Uh, the first thing, various companies use various nomenclatures. Be clear about this. Okay. But that does not mean that various companies will do various other work. The nomenclature is basically a bit abused, I would say, like different things in a different company, but more or less the work can be same. Okay, like a data scientist in a true sense is something. It's the most topmost in the ladder. I will use the consultant even as a manager. So data scientist in its true sense is like it's a true form of a it's kind of a lead. Like जैसे होता है ना कि स्कूल में होता है स्टूडेंट होता है टीचर होता है प्रिंसिपल होता है so principal, let's say he's like the principal, right? So he's like the lead. He's the one who is, he will not basically run models, he will not do data preparation, he will not really give clean the data, he will not really extract the data, he will not do anything like this, right? What he will do is basically he will prepare algorithms, he will prepare the methodology, he will prepare like how a proper modeling will happen. So for example, let's say you are in a company and you decide from moving to linear regression to kind of neural networks, right? So for example, आप एक problem को linear regression से solve कर रहे थे. Now you want to solve that problem through neural networks, right? So data scientist comes into play like in that kind of a forte, right? Because he will have a deep knowledge about the mathematics behind it, the computer science or the programming knowledge behind it, and he will try to build a framework, right? So it's like the upper kind of at a very high level. So that's a true nature or true profile of a data scientist. Okay. The other thing is that the routine skill set is mostly PhDs, right? Like a Google or Adobe will really have PhDs in data scientist. Coming to data analyst and analyst, um, uh, so data analyst is more like a data entry type of a job. So I will always suggest you should not get into data analyst because it's more of a data related job, right? Uh, और डेटा एसोसिएट जहाँ पे भी डेटा आ जाता है राइट एनालिस्ट इज cool or analytics analyst is cool because you are then basically working into modeling, right, or analytics. right? So when you are going into modeling, then you get this kind of a role. Data analysis is more of data kind of a job, but you have basically, so two type of which is broadly. So there is a data treatment or a data gathering and data treatment work, right? Where you basically deal with the data, all kind of data. You do not really work on modeling, and there's something which is predictive modeling, जहाँ पे आपको knowledge of, यहाँ पे आपको knowledge of tools चाहिए. Tools मतलब क्या? जैसे SAS, Python, R, right? But यहाँ पे आपको दोनों ही चीज चाहिए. आपको SAS, R, Python भी आना चाहिए, and you should know techniques also, like right, जैसे linear regression or logistic regression or a random forest. So you should know both the uh, both the sides of it, right? It's not like you can only know the techniques or you can only know the tools, right? So business analyst on the other way, it's again abused word. It's not really analytics analyst. They are more into like of making presentations and making reports, but not from an analytics, not using analytics. So यहाँ पे आपका question आता है. So someone asked about market research. So in a market research role, you can get a more of an analyst, business analyst, right? So you will use more of business insights, but not use any kind of analytics or modeling to decipher those insights. It's more of a business. You will be doing reports, you will be doing strategy, you will be doing presentations, but not really statistical or machine learning models. So that part will be missing. Statistical modeler is very in a true sense just doing modeling. वो और कुछ नहीं करेगा. He will not present, he will not do communications, he will just only model, just limited to modeling, right? So again, this is very a narrow path. Database engineer is like who is basically interested in the responsibility of managing the databases. So there are like various databases, how we can manage it and how we can just run the databases so that I can run certain queries and the data feeds into the system and I can run models, right? Associate is similar. Consultant and is like the next level. Manager is like basically managing the team. So these are like the various kind of roles, right? So at entry level, you basically kind of get into this kind of a role or this kind of role, and then you get into this role, then you go into this role, then you go into this role, then you go into this role, right? So this is how basically the hierarchy flows. So this, then then this, and there could be like sub levels like senior analyst or a like a sub consultant, some kind of this role. So there could be depending upon the organizations, right? So that's how that's how the profile works. Okay. Uh, I would advise a business analyst or maybe an analytics analyst, right? So I would suggest more of business because डेटा लिमिटेड हो जाता है बिजनेस में. आप डेटा से भी डील कर सकते हो, बट एंड यू आर आल्सो डीलिंग विद द वेरियस काइंड ऑफ I would say the various insights of dealing with the business, of doing with the business. So I would recommend that. Okay. Okay. So quickly going to, I'm already overshooting the timeline. So quickly going to skills. So I've listed on a few things. It's not the exhaustive. So like a multiple linear regression modeling, time series forecasting, boosting and bagging, deep learning. So this can be like a sequential flow of skill set that you can see off. So multiple linear regression like lasso, ridge, ordinary least square, time series forecasting, ARIMA, vector regression model, UCM model. UCM modeling we do a lot. Random forest, gradient boosting, gradient descent. These are like all sort of techniques. Deep learning where you have artificial neural networks, SVM or support extra machines. So these are like the various techniques which the potential recruiters look for. The more the tick marks are there in these kind of techniques, the more better are your chances to get into. But broadly, time series forecasting क्यों? Because हमारा data time series level पे होता है. So we have sales at the time series level. Why we use linear regression? Because most of the times we have this kind of additive relationship between the sales that is dependent and independent variables. Boosting and bagging too, because we are now moving into the stages of machine learning that iterations are not. Deep learning, why? Because where we can use data from videos or from sentiments to basically learn are being sold and what kind of channels which are performing better. So this stuff. So skill sets the most four ones are the most important. Then you have the Python, SAS. Tableau is thoda sa alag, but it's a very important tool in terms of data visualization, right? So in marketing analytics, because you deal with the client, various type of clients. So having the understanding of a kind of this kind of software, obviously in addition to statistical software, very helpful, right? So that's right. Skills which you should really think of is like the presentation skills, right? Your communication, how do you communicate, how well you can present any kind of a case to the client or to the manager, right? Communications are very important. Presentation skills are really important because you keep on talking to the client. The client can be from various geographies, from the various sectors. And the most important part is like experience in marketing. I did not have any experience in marketing. I say, but really, if you have experience in marketing, you really can understand like how the campaigns are designed and how it works, and how can the consumer reacts to it. So you can have an edge in terms of like how to interpret or digest the results. It's very important to digest results in a marketing analytics scenario, right? So that's how you can just these are like the few things which you can really focus on if you really want to see this industry as one of your options in your career, right? So yeah, so right, so it's definitely possible, Hansa. Again, PhD is not like the mandatory degree; it's preferred, but it's like it's considered desirable. But you can always go up with your experience, and you can achieve that, right? So that is how you can go and increase your experience and achieve a data scientist kind of a role, right? Okay. And Arnab, yes, sales profile will help you in terms of the decision making, but I would, to be really blunt, uh, the skill set in terms of the programming and the technique point of view is important, and it can be really learned. It's not like it cannot be learned. It's like a lot of resources are available, both paid as well as free. You can use those resources to learn these kind of techniques. Okay. Okay. So let me just quickly run a small regression problem. Okay. Uh, it's not very big. I just created a dummy data set for you guys. Uh, just to see that what happens. If you can see my data, uh, so what I have is like sales, right? I have these years, okay, and so years from 2010 to 2011, and I have got like monthly sales, right? For each year, I've got like the months, okay, and I have like some of the spending, okay. So okay, so this is not the right. I'm using the predicted part of it. So right, so this is like the sales, and this is like spending on the various other channels like out of home, a print, a TV, or a digital. So what we try to decipher is kind of a relationship between the y and my independent variable. So this is like my y variable, and this is my independent variables, right? In a true sense, we do not really model it like this. We use certain concept called a lag effect and power effect and Armstrong effect, but it's kind of intricate in itself, so I'm not using it right now. I'm just trying to show that like sales है मेरा, and these are like the various spending that I've done. Okay, so I can use this data to build a simple linear regression model. Okay, so I'm just reading this data, and I built this model which basically uses an LM function, and I'm describing sales as a function of my digital spend, my out-of-home spend, my TV spend, and my sprint spend, right? And I'm using the data which is AM sales, which is nothing but the file which I read. And if I run this small model, I get a summary, right? So so we'll try to understand this result a bit. So if you see that digital spend, it has got these are like the estimates. So this is basically saying that for a unit change in my digital spend, how much will my sales increase or decrease, right? So effectively, your marketing will never decrease your sales, but it can always decrease sales in such a way that in the industry it is called cannibalization, right? So for example, if you're showing an ad for something, your sale is not happening in that particular thing, but the sale is happening on some other thing. So for example, uh, let's say if you're showing a sale or showing an ad of, let's say, Wagner, and people are not really going to buy Wagner, but they're going to buy Baleno, right? But the budget that you had for Wagner, it is like really decreasing your sales. So it can have a kind of a negative or a kind of a competitor. So competitor spending may have a kind of a negative impact on your sales, right? So that is how the negative impact is played, right? So these like estimates explain for unit change in your independent variable, what would be the change in your dependent variable. So I am not getting into a statistics point of view. I'm just trying to explain you a simple result. So let's say my sales was in 2010 around 7690. Okay. And these are like the spending. Let it be unit free right now, right? So these were the coefficients that I got from my model. Okay. So my sales contribution will be basically my coefficient into my actual unit. So which is basically my beta 0, beta 1 into x, and this is basically my beta 2 into x, right? So this is my sales contributed, right? And what will be my ROI? This is basically, let's say, my spend. And what is my my contribution? This is my contribution, which is around 2,257. So my ROI is around 36 and my digital ROI is 43. So in terms of this relative ROI, I would say कि digital में आपका spending ज़्यादा है, but आपका ROI भी ज़्यादा है. So you should keep on spending more on your digital channels. But आपका out of home, since it's negative, you should decrease your spending in out of home. So this is in a very simple snapshot view is that how the modeling happens. It's not really not as simple as this is, but this is how really in terms of very high level, how we basically deal with the with the marketing drivers. So yeah, so that's how basically we use kind of this kind of information to present to the client in terms of like what should be optimal spending, or where you should spend more or decrease your spend, right? Okay, so yeah, I'm sorry, I just went on, kept on talking, but I think you guys asked a few questions. So yeah, so this was all from my side, and if any questions that you want to ask to me in terms of technique, really not. The case study was really a smaller thing of like I really focus on the results interpretation, but we use more of time series plus linear regression. But it was too you need to explain a lot of concepts which it's not possible in just a 1 hour kind of session. So that's the reason I did not went into too much detail. What is perspective of analytics in pharmaceutical industry? It's not. It's basically into clinical trials where you try to use that which of the drugs are basically performing better for the client or for the patient itself, right? So here the techniques like logistic regression is very essential and very helpful, right? Because here you need to be really very accurate because the chances of error is very less. When you go for clinical trial in pharmaceutical industry, you need to really predict that a drug which you provide to a patient that really cures the patient, right? So that's how you should. So yes, there is a lot of prospect. So the companies like Novartis, the companies like WNS, which use Novo Nordisk, which use uh, which are based on healthcare analytics. Okay. I think it is. I will say yes. You can use the word good, but not excellent, right? You cannot be like a superman in all of the skills. You should be good in coding, right? It's not like ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है कि आपको अगर coding नहीं आता है तो फिर it's a bit difficult, but you should be like you should not really fear about coding. अगर आप if you feel that okay अब क्या होगा, then it's then it's not a good sign. But most of the codes are available in Google. There are a lot of communities, there are a lot of people who are writing packages. There's a lot of resources. So it's really आप कभी फंस भी जाते हो, you can really Google it out, right? And but yes, code encoding is kind of a kind of essential scenario, right? Abhishek. So, question from my side: Did you really got a hang of marketing analytics, like what it happens, or how the industry runs, or what kind of information is available? Yeah, pick up a software and you can use R or Python, maybe whatever. But pick up a software whichever you feel is more suitable. It's more you are more okay dealing with, right? Both have kind of have equal processing abilities. Python is more versatile. R is more into statistical modeling. So you can pick up a software and decide accordingly. Yeah. Okay. So the case if I'm receiving thank you. So yeah, future of SaaS. SaaS will remain there. Uh, the reason is that still companies prefer SaaS. The most important part of SaaS is that it's very secure, right? So companies which have a lot of secure data, they still want to pay up the SaaS license and keep on working on SaaS. So it's not, I will not say the future is ऐसे हट जाएगा SaaS. SaaS has its own market and it will continue to have its own market. But um, I feel that it will not grow really because Python and R they really do most of the stuff, and most of the advanced machine learning or deep learning is happening in Python. The reason is that they are free, and the most of the new things will come up in Python or R first, right? And so that is how they are more important. But that does not negate the future of SaaS. SaaS has its own market share, its own advantages. So if you it's important also to have the knowledge of SaaS, right? Python program required both business and data analytics. Again, do not get confused into the that word there. Like analytics is only one analytics, business and data. There's no two different words, right? So Python program, any kind of programming like R or Python, they are both helpful, right? So it's a free language. If you know it, it's good. The point is that you should be able to treat the data in any kind of language, bring the data in the shape that you want to, and you can run the models. You can run a model in Python also. You can run a model in R also, right? So either ways. Okay, perfect. So anything else that you want to ask? If in case no, then I would thank you or thank all of you that I know that it's a weekday and all of you guys took your time to join the session. Yeah. I hope that you got some kind of understanding, right, about the marketing analytics. And I would I would think like right now, if you see any kind of ad in a YouTube or a newspaper or television, you really know that what's happening behind and why it's happening, right? So I think that would be a takeaway. Feel free to connect to me, and so this is my email ID. Right? If you want to drop a mail or something, no, obviously we'll drop a mail. So feel free, and I will be happy to connect. So yeah,
So thank
yeah,
you
let's
so
go to
much,
next.
Arpendu, for your time. And I'm sure everyone thought that
Yeah, sure.
really just the tip of the iceberg, and you had so much more to give, and everyone was so much eager to actually learn more, including me.
Yeah,
So we'll connect, some other time with probably some, details and deeper insights. But I think it was a very helpful session for all of us. Thank you from my side and from everyone's side here on this webinar. Thank you so much.